Morning. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk you and me. Let's talk about all the good things, the bad things that make me. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Well, hello. How's everybody this morning? Nice to see you all. And good to be here on this lovely here in Florida Wednesday morning. The sun shining, temperatures in the high 70s, and we're looking for a beautiful day. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Nice to be with you all and good to be here today. And I see we've got a big crowd. We're just loaded for bear today. Lots of folks piling in. We are currently have 23 watching with 20 thumbs up. So we're in pretty good shape going in already this morning. And I think Joey, there she is. Hey, Joey. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good. How are you this morning?
I'm doing okay.
Doing okay. Great. We got a crowd in today.
Yeah, I see that.
Do you want to do some hellos?
Sure. I like to take it from the top. Start with James Handy, Glass Box Fox, Perna Karen Narash, Jenny Lynn is here, Roma Chirac. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Then I'll scroll down a little more, and I see Lee Wilcox is here. Tank Top Tropics. World's smallest fish from Johans, and then my chat just jumped, so we'll go back to that. And then I see Roger Selman's here this morning with us, Brad's Hobbies, Patrick Polson, Xana Doodoo. Scrolling then I see Graham Fishkeeper, Monster Fish Gal. Lori's with us this morning. Thank you so much for coming
Hi,
in.
Laurie.
And then I see Mermaid's Chorus, Waterculture, David Piper, Stephanie Frederick, Frugal Aquatics, TJ, welcome, David Sansell, Joshua Miller, Duco is here this morning, Color Guppies, welcome, Paul C. George McCool is new this morning, and welcome. Nice to see you.
Hello, George.
Then one Fishy Dude and Bruiser CB. I'm at the bottom. Good morning and welcome, everyone.
Hello. Hey, Chevy
Hey,
Fish.
Chevy Fish. That's right. Good morning and welcome. All right. And so also right out of the gate, we like to get our thumbs up going. So it's hammer time. Smash the like button, people.
We are 40 watching and 29 thumbs up. 30, we're 10 shy. Get back there now. Get back down there and punch that like button. 32.
Right.
Coming up in the world. Wake it up. Nice.
All right. Thank you so much.
I
don't know if I saw any questions. I think everybody was just chit-chatting. You said you have a nice picture from Jenny, and if anybody
I do. Yeah, I do. It really is, too. It's really impressive.
Good morning, Mr. Manifesto.
Hello. Let's see if we can. There it is. Look at that. That's the after. Let me show you the before. This is the before.
Okay.
And let's go back to the after. Look at that. Isn't that stunning?
Jenny, that's beautiful. Nice
Yeah,
job.
we can make it bigger. Maybe you can blow it up on your screen. But it's just a beautiful job.
Yeah, looks really nice.
A deep sand bed, lots and lots of plants.
That's
And they
right.
look like really, really good quality plants. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's that's going to be a beautiful tank.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good job.
Yes, Furloughs Aquatic. Welcome, Eric. Good morning.
Good job, Jenny.
Yeah, really nice. Really nice. So, all right.
Bruiser. Bruiser.
So, as I said, if anybody has a question, if they would like to drop it in the chat, now is a really good time. Good chance.
Yeah, I've been missing you too, Lee. Nice to have you back with us. I understand you're here because the plumbers are in. You're going to be moving soon, I guess, aren't you? That should be coming up.
Mhm. All right. So, we don't have any questions yet, so it's whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I went out collecting yesterday, and so many people were worried. It was really sweet. Um, but it was a very low level collecting trip. The only difficulty was it took an hour and a half to get there. So it was a long drive, but a long drive on a single road, not really no turns at all. Once I got on the highway or got on the road where I was going, it was a straight shot to there. Went through Arcadia to the east of Arcadia, all the way up to there are monster plants east of Arcadia that are citrus plants with thousands of acres of orange trees or citrus trees. It's just really amazing seeing these vast farms of citrus and the major industry that has grown up around to support them with train lines going in and huge big buildings and great huge trucks. It's really kind of amazing. But there's one little spot there that I found with Frank last summer. There's a spring that flows on both sides of the road for about 200 yards. The water is the deepest 6 inches, um, and it's very muddy. There are a lot of plants growing in it, and it has a population of Ellisoma everglades, along with mollies, hermosa, and gambusi, and jewel cichlids. And that's it. Five species of fish in there. The jewels, of course, are the top predator. They get I caught one 4 inches. Um, but I got some nice mollies. Mollies, if I see them come up to the front, I'll show you a picture of them. Oh, here they come, as a matter of fact. I got these mollies. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, let me.
FATHERFISH, we can't see because you've got the chat. Yeah.
I got it right.
Good morning, Wicks World and TM Shepherd. Good morning.
Those are the mollies. And we're not likely to see any of the Ellisoma. They're very tiny and they hide.
Okay.
But I think I've got enough now to fill all my orders.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Hugo, that's a lucky find. 50 gallon for free. Awesome.
Oh.
Nice. That's really cool.
Lee said it snowed where he is. It snowed on the island today. Never had snow there that he's aware of. Oh.
That's interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, we still don't have any questions, so you need to keep talking. So just keep talking.
So anyway, the trip was really fun. Yeah, it's very quiet, just there, kind of there and back. And I collected. I actually went over to the other side of the road today. First time I've done that, and it was easier and better. Um, so I'm going to be doing that from now on.
That's cool.
um, uh, but that my problem is I just got worn out. I got to the point where my legs started to cramp, and I knew that was done once that happened. So I just got back in the car and came back home. It'd be nice to find a place closer. It's a long drive to go to
Yeah.
get these fish, but at least I've got a bunch. I now have about 3 dozen, and I think I've got orders. I've got orders for just about that. Uh, so who was it? Holly, I think, asked me. She's not here, is she?
No, somebody asked you this morning if you had enough to fill another order. I'll look back and see if I can see who it is.
Yeah, I think Holly did. I don't know if there was
Well,
somebody else, but
okay.
I may
Yeah,
have a few extra.
Holly didn't today, but somebody else asked you today. I'm not sure.
Well, anyway, if you want to put an order in, I should have enough to fill it. I think I'm good. So long as I can catch them. I turned them loose in these two tanks, the 40 and the 30 long. So I got to get in there. Got to get in there and find them. I've yet to lose any. I've kept these for years and I don't lose them. So they're real hardy. We'll see how it we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah. Shemai Duncan, welcome. Hello. Um, Ren, good morning.
Ren LaRue, good morning, Ren.
Um,
And Shamal.
Somebody was asking when you're going to show a collecting video, and I think it was Duke that said that they had
I've got some video. I shot a little bit yesterday and it didn't come out. So I'll put up what I've got. It's not very good, but it's what I've got. So I'll get some stuff up right away. At least it'll show you where I've been collecting lately. And then want to do another trip locally. There is a local pond that I can get some nice varieties out of. So if I can get my GoPro working, we'll try to get that happening. Yes, Joey.
Shemai Duncan is just asking if you let a pool fill with rainwater, can you keep fish in that outside, or will you need to add minerals?
No, that's fine. You can do that. You mean, can I or can you?
I mean, I think can one? Can
One,
someone
yes.
fit
Well,
in?
generally, yeah.
Okay.
It depends on where you're taking them from, but generally, a rain-filled pond, particularly if it's got some waste matter in it, some leaves, or put a scoop of dirt in it. That'll help to balance it out and get the life going in it. The dirt's really helpful because it provides a foundation for for the microscopic life that's living in there. It also provides kind of a nutritional base as well. So if you have a little outdoor pond like that with rainwater, put a scoop of dirt in it. Just dirt, anything, doesn't matter. Scoop some dirt off the ground and throw it in. So long as there's no um, toxins in that, you want to be careful about that. But otherwise, it'll be fine. And it'll work really well, and you'll be able to get a lot of life that way.
Good morning, Andrew Todd, Greg the Guppy Guy, and I see Randall Hooser is here, new and welcome into the show.
Hello, Randall.
And then Duco says, my plants tend to grow towards the glass, and I'm thinking about my ambient sunlight in the room is brighter than my light because they only grow to the one side with the window of the window. Should I up my lighting?
Well, you certainly could. Ambient is brighter. Yeah. It depends on what you want happening in your tank. If you want growth in front of that, then yeah, you're going to need more light.
Yeah.
But you may, you can always turn it too, unless it's too big a tank to turn. Um,
Yeah.
it just depends on what you want it to look like in the tank and how you want that to work.
Good
Graham
morning.
is asking how the plans for the saltwater setup is coming. Well, I got to get these fish out of here now. I just dumped a bunch of fish in yesterday, so they have to come out. And so, uh, not a lot of movement, I should say. I do, by the way, have a puckfish. If anybody's interested in the puckfish, I've got about 2 dozen of those, so they're available as well. I do have a few orders for them. Have I ever been to South America collecting? No, I never have. And I think I'm too old and weak to do it now. Although I've seen guys go down there collecting virtually in wheelchairs, so it's probably doable. Yeah, I'm working on getting out and walking more. The being in the shop really kept me from being as physically active as I would like to be. So I'm hoping trips like the one yesterday and doing more, getting out and moving around is going to build up the strength in my legs, which might allow me to do something like that. I would love to do it, but no, I never have. Never been to South America. Ren's talking about.
Yeah, I was saying Mr. Manifesto was recommending, a curtain for the window where your plants are growing towards it. And yes, that's an option. And yeah, Ren's got a project.
Right.
Um,
Putting up a shelf for her 30 long.
mm-hmm. Yeah, these are unfortunately all the problems we all have run trying to squeeze another tank.
Really?
Randall says he should be getting an order from you soon, so he's recently placed an order.
Oh, good. Okay. I think, I just looked at that this morning. I'm hoping to get these out today. There it is, right there. Plant order. I'm waiting for my heat packs to come in. I ordered them Friday. I called back Tuesday because they weren't here. That was yesterday. And they had not shipped them. So hopefully they shipped them yesterday. You should be able to get them today.
All right.
We're Dunlap suggesting a Bowflex. To be a buff and tan old man.
No, Ren, you can absolutely do that. Lower your water and move your tank with everything intact. Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you get it down to maybe an inch.
Yeah.
Just an inch of water if you can move it with that. Yes. Absolutely.
I guess so. Welcome, Say. Good morning.
Yeah.
Rohan, hello. Welcome.
Yes.
Who has the room for both ways? Yeah.
Yeah, good question. I don't. I do have a bike, a stationary bike outdoors. Yeah, I'll get the heat packs mid-July to August, right.
Yeah.
I almost don't need them, except the weather's been so crazy.
Right. Red's Fish, welcome. Good morning. Is there centerpiece fish for my 29-gallon with embers, pristillas, red-eye tetras, and cories? What would be a good centerpiece fish? Tennessee Valley, welcome. Good morning.
Embers, pristillas, red eyes, and cories. I wouldn't put an angel in. They're going to get so big they'll eat the embers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You might look for something like pencil fish, something more unusual in that same size. You want to keep it small. I can't think of any rams. You could do rams. If you can get, you need to keep your temperature up for rams, but they would work out. They don't get big at all. They're not going to be aggressive. Yeah, I would look around for some more oddball tetras or other fish like pencil fish that would just be more interesting.
I agree, Ren. Just use it as a holder. Yours is a grenade. And welcome, Word Dunlap. Good morning. I plant tomatoes in June. We will get heavy frost. I get what
Yeah,
you're saying.
really.
I get what you're saying. Oh, Ren's suggesting the Bolivian.
The
Ran, yep.
Bolivian, they get a little big. They're okay. They do get a little big.
Yep, a little bit more of a centerpiece fish for you. Yep. And I do. Rohan's asking about shifted gold barbs to a pool pond in a 30-gallon vat on the other side of the house, which gets more sunlight. They are playing all day long. I'm sure they are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That sounds
Right.
great, Rohan.
Right. A
All
pisto,
right.
Brad's suggesting. Yeah, it's a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Duco wants to know what fish I can breed in the 50 to 75, near about anything.
I was gonna say, yeah, pick a fish you like. Yep.
You know, just whatever you like. You know, bigger fish like angels, some of the cichlids, you could put big South Americans in there. I mean, I would look at things like chocolate cichlids, keyhole cichlids, heroes, those sorts of things. If you like that kind of thing, Jack Dempsey's.
Or Ren, you had to separate your fish. They didn't like each other.
Oh my, they're ranchos.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
Osaka didn't want to share. Oh
Yeah.
my.
Hmm. Shut. Rainbow cichlids, yeah. Pretty fish.
Yeah, rainbows are always a good choice.
Oh, your new one was too small to keep. Yeah, okay. Andre Ellis, good morning. Welcome. Or afternoon. Never sure where anybody's really from. Hello.
Andre got his temperature up.
Yeah.
70. 70 is a little low.
Well, I don't know what he's keeping, but the tropical.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
I mean, if it's natives, then you're probably fine. But
Right.
I don't know what you're keeping. Hey, Sincere. Good morning.
He's been breeding bristlenose. Got baby bristlenose.
You're not for a while, right?
Bonjour mes amis, je suis ciel. Vegas and Spila. Wow, that's a beautiful fish. How big are the Canisteo? Beige. Let me show a picture of that. That's a really pretty fish. Let's see.
That would be good, Duco. At Guppy.
Yeah.
Community. Yeah, that would be a nice thing.
Pretty fish. Synspilum. I've got one little one here in back of me.
Wow.
They don't show much color when they're little.
Yeah. That's neat. Oh, Andre says it's been in the low 60s. Whoever built my second bedroom decided that it doesn't need heat or AC.
Oh my.
I'll keep in white clouds and Grammys.
White clouds and Grammys. Well, that works. That's fine.
Yeah.
Ren LaRue have a freshwater eel. Huh. Canisteo's biggest male is 8 inches. Smallest are 4. That's good size.
Good
So
size.
lots of color on them already, yeah.
Yeah. Miss Manifesto just got 2 sparkling gouramis. They are highly underrated, stunning. Yeah. And peaceful.
Peaceful and stay small. Yeah, the little gouramis are That's a nice fish to mix in with small tetras, small fish.
And you are right, pearl gouramis are also very nice.
Yep.
And I would say underrated as well. Yeah.
Columnaris. Well, if you get them in, if you get some and just isolate them for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you're going to bring in. So just try to be
Graham
careful that way with it.
can,
Ren has chocolate gouramis. Very nice.
yeah. And Graham's asking, can a stunted koi look like a goldfish? Well, I mean, it's still going to have the koi shape. It might be goldfish size, but it's not going to. I mean, a koi is a koi, so I guess you got to figure out if it's a koi or just a goldfish. If it matters, it might just be that you're curious.
Does it have barbels?
Right, barbells and more the carp mouth. It's not always the body that's the telltale. It's some of those little features. Yeah.
Yeah, Duco's talking about axolotls. Generally, they can be kept at room temperature. 70, 75 is fine. They do perfectly well at that temperature. That's not too warm for them.
I don't know, Ron. I always heard you got Hydra from feeding brine shrimp. She's saying she hears that you get the columnaris worms from feeding shrimp.
I don't think so.
I've never heard of that. I've heard of Hydra overfeeding brine shrimp, but not.
Right.
Tam, Joey, my angelfish moved their newest spawn to the leaf, and the dad has been trying to keep. Are they in a separate tank, Tam, or are they in with the existing babies? They got to be in a separate tank because most of them won't spawn if they've got babies. You have to have two different tanks going. Keep one from rolling up.
They are having fun with their angels, aren't they?
We'll just be busy working on that. They'll figure it out. Kinesio Valley saying columnists will stick to nets and transfer tanks and use a clean net. Yeah. I just think that's good practice in general, personally.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I do not, use anything that I haven't cleaned from one tank to the other. It gets sterilized.
We're Dunlap. Whoever distributes fish with worms doesn't get a second chance with me. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a visible problem. It's something that's obvious. Any shop that gets fish in with worms, number one, is buying questionably. And number two, if they're selling them with worms, they're just really not paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, Ren, that's the problem with all this stuff. You start wanting to get a collection of something, it can get pricey, And Whipswirl says, Fatherfish, I know I asked this before, so I apologize, but I forgot what you told me. Is there a true freshwater eel that can be found in America that aren't electric?
South American. Well, the American eel is not electric, and it spends most of its life living in fresh water. Also, what's the other one? The swamp eel. The swamp eel is not electric, and that is a freshwater eel. Beyond that, one of the nicest of the eel-like fish is the South American lungfish. And that's really, if you've got a big fish kind of mentality or experience, the lungfish, the African or the South American lungfish are really wonderful fish to be able to keep. you pretty much have to keep them by themselves, though. They're really quite aggressive. I made the mistake of mixing about an 18-inch African lungfish in with my sirens, these guys here, and he took a big chunk right out of the side of one of the sirens, just bit a big chunk right out of him and killed him. So you need to be somewhat careful with with fish like that. But they are cool. They don't do much. They just sort of sit there. But it's fun to feed them and watch them and get them grow. If you have a dedicated tank, they don't need a lot of space either. The critical thing is to keep them covered because they will tend to try to come out.
Yeah. Good morning, Howard, and hello, Craig. Welcome. And Tam. Okay, so you've got the babies in a different tank. It doesn't matter what they're in, but they're separated. So you should be in good shape. You should be.
Yeah, Frugal said he had Neil destroy his Descartes. Well, that's certainly possible. They do. They're big and they're strong and they move stuff around. Howard Van Tassel, listening while driving home from work.
Good morning, Darius. And Word Dunlap says, worms do not spontaneously generate. Parasitic worms spend several stages in various organisms. What is the life cycle of the Calmaris worm? And that I don't know.
Hello, let's look it up. Yeah, let's look it up and see.
That I don't know, because I don't think I've had to deal with it. Luckily, knock on wood. So I'm not sure. Yeah, a package of levamisole will last you about a lifetime. It should.
That's true.
If you're having to use a whole package, you get some big problems, which we hope you don't have.
Right. Let's see. Life cycle.
I mean, most worms are usually a couple weeks cycle.
Yeah, it's a roundworm.
Parasites, or a 2-week cycle typically. And that's why you retreat in 2 weeks, I would say. That's my guess. The Dave, welcome. He says he's a new subscriber.
Silkworm, stomach worm, roundworm, silverleaf. Let's see, here we go. Columnaris. Camelanus.
I don't know. I hear it pronounced both ways, so.
Okay, so an infected crustacea being eaten by a fish poops it out. The parasites feed on blood in the fish. They then shed larvae. They poop out, shed larvae, and go into a little microscopic bug. Second stage, third stage, they're eaten by a fish. So they go through a egg stage, and the eggs hatch and go into like a rotifer or a scud, something like that. That gets eaten by a fish, and they then live in the gut until they mature and are pooped out, lay eggs, and go back into a scud again. So there's the cycle.
But it doesn't say how long. It's a longer than 2-week cycle, obviously.
No, this doesn't have a time frame. It's going to be like a week to 2 weeks,
So
probably.
probably about a 2 week cycle. Father Fish, we have someone new in here, the Dave, and somebody was just mentioning that he has a really nice channel and does
Thank
some
you.
interesting work. I lost. Oh, the Dave. Love your videos, especially the ones with the bristle nose. Okay, so welcome.
Oh, the Dave, right. Now,
Yeah.
I ran into the Dave yesterday,
Okay.
and uh, I was just amazingly impressed. Um, it's the DAVE stands for, if I can remember this, and I'm sure I won't, digital. It stands for digital video something. It's it's very very high quality, high production videos,
Nice.
and well worth watching. Just really very impressive. Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, people seem to know the channel, so
Channel.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's called the Dave, the channel, and it's well worth a look. Well worth subscribing to. Just nice things going to be coming out, always coming out routinely. Brad says he's a big fan of Dave. Wife and I enjoy it together. Piece on Rams was instrumental. Yeah, I did the Rams. I watched the Rams video, and it was so impressive and so beautiful. I watched it to see if if it fit with my preconceived notions and my experience, and I found that it did, which was interesting and helpful. And it's always it's always good to be reinforced. But beautiful stuff. Thank you. Good to have you here, the Dave.
Kinesio Valley says, has anyone else heard pumpkin seeds are a natural dewormer? Dr. Basiler sells a pumpkin seed food for parasites in the gut. I feed my pigs whole pumpkins in the fall to deworm. I personally never heard of that, but
I haven't. That's interesting. Yeah,
there are
yeah.
a lot of natural dewormers out there, so thank you for that information.
You bet. And that would be an easy one to feed to fish. You want to smash it up.
Yeah.
Just grind the seeds, and probably green seeds are going to be easier to work with, and the fish are going to feed on them better.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's certainly not going to be toxic.
Yeah. Good morning, Patrick Hardy.
Randler needs cute pictures of her puffers.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? I think it's hammer time. Smash the like button, people. I don't know what the count is.
31 watching and 50. Oh my! I should say we're way behind on things here.
Putting them to sleep.
Catch up, you guys. Hit it again, Joey. It didn't move.
Smash the like button, people.
There we go. There we go. That got some attention. 52, 54, jumping up. All right. Good job.
Oh, you're welcome, Patrick.
Just got to stay on him there. David watching life and culture videos. Nice. Ren LaRue, Fatherfish, did you get my book? I got it, signed it, and sent it. It is on its way back to you.
Oh, I'm working on it, Ren. I'm working on a new hammer. It'll be a new and improved hammer. You'll like it.
So Ren, you should get the book in a day or two. I sent it yesterday, I believe. Yes, yesterday.
You mean in general, Craig, or just don't let go of it when I smash it?
Don't let go of that.
I won't get rid of the original hammer if that's what you're talking about.
Oh, I think he's afraid it's going to fly out and hit somebody.
Yeah, probably hit my dog.
Really? Patrick says, Joey, thank you for the bell. Right, it's a matched set. Joey, the hammer, and the bell.
Like
Heard
the way
someone talking about using dried potato skins as root tabs. Well, that's a good idea. Um, I hadn't really thought about vegetation that way. Wouldn't even need to be dry. Could be raw. Raw potato skins would really be an excellent um, addition to a substrate. It's a pure organic material, so it's going to break down. It'd be easy to push it down in the sand without creating much fuss. Anything else like that you can think of that's not going to pollute the water, that's going to go through the water column easily and be easily pressed down into the sand, is going to certainly be beneficial for the substrate. So good idea, good choice. Brad is saying it was an echo to your guidance on when to remove the fry from the breeding tank. Ah, so right. That was the thing that was most critical to me watching it, because that's been my consistent experience. I am certainly wishful, I should say, that there would be some rams that would actually raise their babies, but I haven't seen it. I've yet to experience it.
Vision Tactics. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. And
Oh, where is that there? Sure enough. Thank you, Fishing Tactics. Very nice. Appreciate that. Father Fish and Lady Mjolnir. Lady Mjolnir. Lady Mjolnir.
I'm not sure that's how you pronounce it.
How would you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Mjolnir?
Oh, good night, Craig. Thanks for stopping by.
Mjolnir is the name of Thor's hammer.
Well, I know what that is, but I don't know. Anyway.
Red LaRue. Any sand will do, Ren. I prefer pool sand because it's a nice texture. Play sand can be a real problem because it has so much clay and dust in it. It just becomes impossible to clean. However, if you're using it as a cap on your dirt when you're setting up the tank, then it's really ideal because all of that tiny material stays down in the substrate. What I would do, I think, if you're going to use play sand, is cap it with something else, either pool sand or a tiny, like a river rock, a half an inch or quarter inch of river rock, something to sit on top of that, because it'll tend to want to fluff up a little bit. But actually, it's not that play sand is not good. It is good. It's just very difficult. You can't pour it through water and expect to have a tank that's going to ever get clear because there's so much dust and clay in it. It just immediately muddies the water. And that will kill fish. It'll create such a problem in the water that it will affect the gills of the fish. So you want to be careful about that and not do anything that's going to create exceedingly or excessively cloudy water, because it's not healthy at all for the fish.
TJ says, if veggies are good nutrition, I'm going to cap a pizza with sand in my 15-gallon. I just try it, TJ, and let us know how it works. Just go for it. Let me know.
Are you better, James? Are you feeling better?
Oh, sorry, James.
Rosalind Clancy. Hello, Rosalind.
Good morning, Roz. How you doing?
Tam Shepard wants to know what meds would I recommend keeping on the can. I don't know. General Cure probably is the most commonly available, easiest to get, and most helpful. You can also get some methylene blue, but then things like um, um, what am I thinking? Baking soda, um, H2O2 peroxide, merthiolate or mercurochrome. Um, Anything you've got in your medicine cabinet has potential use on your fish for topical treatment. And let me stress topical treatment because I don't like to put medications in the water. I like to treat fish topically if they have a visible problem. Now, obviously, you can't do that with certain things that are not that are loose and wild in the tank. But generally, the problems you're going to encounter have to do with injury or a parasite that's attached itself to a fish, or a bacteria or a fungus growing on the fish, something like that, that really is best treated topically. Take the fish out and put whatever your treatment material is going to be, put it right on the wound. Yeah, simple is the key, Ran.
Yeah, and Patrick wants to know your opinion on topping off water in your aquariums.
Tapping off water in the aquarium.
I think he means topping.
Topping off, yeah. I top off on an as needed basis. I don't do it routinely. Now, there are legitimate reasons to do routine top offs. If you've got a tank like Joey's in back there, which is a very active tank with a lot of big fish in it, she does top offs. She doesn't do them frequently. What, once,
Well,
twice a month?
I don't do top offs. I do an actual water change. I change
Water
50%
change, yeah.
of the water in a tank about once a month. So that's different
You
than.
did say tap off. I'm thinking water change, and you're saying top
No, he's
off.
saying top off. Like when you get evaporation,
Yeah,
topping off your tank. How do you handle that? I believe that's what he means.
I believe you're right, and I misunderstood it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like to do top offs because unless I have RO water available that I can replace just the water and not replace the minerals, um, you're better off doing a partial. You can do 10%. I mean, 10% is 10% water change is optimal. You don't typically need to do more than that if you're doing relatively frequent. Once or twice a month. 10% is adequate. Um, if you're going to do top offs, buy RO water, spring water, distilled water, um, rainwater, like that, and use that to do top offs. That way, you're not increasing the mineralization, which is already being increased by virtue of the evaporation.
What did I just see? I just saw something. Oh, word done that. I noticed a small amount of frog bit in the tank should be word. Not a frog bit. Frog bit's easy to pull out and get rid of. It's not like that.
Yeah, it's a floating plant.
You can keep frog bit under control very easily. It will multiply like crazy in a week, but it's just easy to pull off and you can throw it out. You can dry it and feed it to something else, or you can just chuck it and dry it out. That's what I do. If I don't want it, I just dry it out. I saw, I think.
Duckweed. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Emily Stevens came in. Good morning, Emily. And we just had somebody new come in down below. OG Great 420. Good morning and welcome. Good morning. Um, yeah, but that's an easy, frog that's easy to control compared to some of the other things.
Where Dunlop is saying, don't plants remove some of the mineral? Well, they do,
Yeah.
but it's not substantial. And if you will leave the dead leaves in there, if you can bear to do that, they will return to the soil and restore those minerals. Uh, if you want a truly recycled tank, then you need to find a way to accommodate the dead leaves. You can take them out and grind them up and put them back in, put them in a bag, something that will allow that material to return to the soil.
I'm just going to add something to that plant thing. When you're removing plants and unwanted plants, if you don't have everybody to give them to and you don't want them, like I said, dry them out, do whatever, get rid of them. But don't add them to a local pond or anything, because that is what destroys ecosystems. Just if you don't want it, dry it out, throw it out. Don't
Right.
toss it somewhere else.
Oh, speaking of
And that's why we end up in situations where we're not allowed to have plants or fish or whatever, because somebody's gone out and done that. So don't add it to a local water system. Just get rid of it.
I found this one yesterday
Well, that's kind of neat.
while I was collecting. It looks a bit like a mermaid. And I'd not seen it anywhere before. It's kind of ferny, but it does have roots.
Yeah. Oh,
We'll see.
OG great is Sarge's Aquatics. Oh, okay. Did you give us a thumbs up on OG? Yeah.
Sarge is aquatic. Salute Sarge.
Well, Johan's for me, the only reason to age water overnight or something is if you're dealing with chlorine or something. I personally don't care if water's aged. I just want to make sure there's no chemicals in it. FATHERFISH may feel differently about it, but
No, the only real issue with city was that the city water question.
he's just asking a general question, and that's what I'm saying is unless there's chemicals in it, I don't feel the
Make
need.
water fish safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily. Obviously, with municipal water, if it has free chlorine, that chlorine will dissipate off, as it says, because it's a gas. If it's
Right.
if there's ammonia in it to create a chloramine molecule, then you need to break that bond. It's not going to come off by letting it sit. So that's more of a problem.
Good morning.
But aging water, older water, there are people on all sides of that argument. I have some friends who are old time fish keepers, old time breeders. These are professional breeders who swear by breeding fish in old water. They never breed fish in new water. They always breed fish in old water. And by old water, I mean water that's been sitting in a tank 10 and 20 years. Really, really old water. Water I wouldn't put fish in.
Right.
But they swear by breeding fish in old water.
Jeffrey Buster, good morning. Randy Roman, good morning.
Ran water lettuce. Water lettuce. The problem with water lettuce, water hyacinth, and the like is they're very high light plants. They're not going to do well typically in an aquarium that is at all underlit. They require very intense light. They live in natural sunlight all day, so they're getting max light and just tend not to do well in a tank that will wilt.
Yeah.
Chevy fish uses rainwater.
Yeah, as I say, Randall wants to know if he can use his neighbor's filtered water for top-offs.
Yeah, presumably it's taking the chloramine out, the
Yeah,
chlorine,
chloramine and some minerals. It'll take out
a certain
lime.
amount. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
don't see one.
I would
Yeah.
say so. Sure. Emerald arowana ran once. Emerald arowana. I don't even know what an emerald arowana is.
I'm not a big arowana person, so I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see if I can find a picture of an emerald arowana.
Oh, Ren. You know, I mean, I've had good luck with frog bit. If it's going and it likes your tank, it will grow. It will grow down and have great roots. Um, if you look at if you have gone to my channel, I have a spawn video with marble angelfish, and if you look at the roots on that frog bit, it will do exactly that.
Right.
Right, you're right, TJ. Waterless doesn't like a lot of water movement.
Can't handle it, right?
Most
Yeah,
of the
it's
flow
true.
plants don't want, they don't want a lot of flow. They want to just be able to sit there and do their thing. That's when you
Cannot
get those.
collect rainwater. You might consider moving, Ren. I would not live in a place that did not allow you to collect rainwater.
That's weird.
It is
So
weird.
collect it, and so they don't know. Put your trash can on the corner of your house. Oops, it just filled with water, accidentally. I had no idea it was happening. My tank, Randy says, my tanks are becoming profitable. Any tips on shipping successfully? Well, certainly depends on what you're talking about shipping, whether it's planes or fish or whatever. So there's a lot of variables there. Kyle's a parametrics. Good morning.
You might want to get an oxygen tank. I think that's the first step towards successful fish shipping is to be able to ship them in oxygen. And when I closed the shop down, I did not keep an oxygen tank, mainly because the ones I had were so big, it was impractical. So I need to try to go back now and try to find something. That's the biggest help, yeah.
Hey, Kyle has an interesting comment there, FATHERFISH at 9:57.
I learned the hard way about chloramines. I tested my tap a while back and found 2.0 total ammonia. Called the water company. Head of water explained how chloramine works. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And it ain't nice. And it's hard to get out.
Yeah.
So you might bitch back at them about why they're so intent on killing pets.
Well, and you're drinking it? I mean, and they're saying you can drink it?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's wholly unnecessary. I mean, they are not running chlorinated water in open vats. They're running it in pipes. So there's no way that chlorine is going to escape into the air because it's not exposed to the air until it reaches you. And you would prefer it gas off. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to achieve by creating chloramine. It looks to me like it's a mad scientist kind of activity. Oh, look, we can keep the chlorine in the water. It ain't never going to gas off. Well, Clyde, we ought to do that. Because that'll be a good thing, won't it? Yeah, Henry, that's a good thing. That way, but we got to tell people not to let their dogs eat it because their dogs will get sick and die. I mean, it really is like that. It really is. It's utter insanity. Makes no sense at all. It's chemistry for the sake of chemistry and not for the sake of any kind of reasonable um, health or 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 public what would it say? Public health issue. I mean, if you're going to let your water go foul in the glass before you drink it, you got what's coming to you. And if that's what they're trying to protect against, then they are really protecting against utter stupidity. And I guess maybe that's the problem. Yeah, biological warfare.
You're right. You're right, the Dave, about that. And then Word Dunlap says I have fluoride damaged plants. It's biological warfare on the people.
Really.
Hmm.
Audible books. Ren, I've been thinking about Audible books. I don't know how to do it. A lot of my videos lend themselves to Audible books. I just
Yeah.
don't know where to set it up or how to do it. Um, I need to get. We need to get Naresh going on this. See if we can figure out how to do Audible books. Because a lot of my videos lend themselves perfectly to that and would be easy to do. Shady Fish talking about remineralizer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
BVM Bumpster, JBVM Bumpster. PS meter, whatever.
I don't know.
JBVM.
I just call him JBV.
JBV.
They know who I'm talking to.
Right. Podcasts. Stephanie suggesting. Yeah, I really would like to do that, I think. Just start getting some out. Ren LaRue, I like your stories. Thank you, Ren. I like telling stories. It's a lot of fun. I don't get a lot of traffic on it. I've done a couple of stories lately. Did an original that I think in a week has had 300 hits. It's kind of astounding the low level of response it's gotten.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, TJ. There's some times where it does smell like a swimming pool. Yep.
Frogs are getting fat. Should they live alone or you think they can live with anyone? Depends what they're getting fat from. If they're getting fat from their tank mates, then they probably need to live alone. Henry Hall, yeah, that was a great story.
Oh, bye, Randy. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Joey, won't you fill in for a minute? I need to take a 1 minute break here.
All right.
Go for it.
Well, let's start with the hammer. Kenny just came in. Let's do hammer time. Smash the like button, people. Morning, Kenny. Wake up. I hope you've had your coffee or you're drinking some. So I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? I don't know. Obviously, we were talking about water. So, yep, it's hammer time. I don't know. I don't really see anything in here. I would like to hear the biggest. I don't know. I'm sure he's got way more stories than I do. Brett must talk about the goldfish. Kenny, wow. Yeah, well, wake up, Kenny. You're waking up good. Good. Get your coffee. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you guys want to know about goldfish. I've talked about goldfish a bunch of times, so I don't know if there's anything left to talk about. But there, he's back. I can hear him. I just filled it in with nothing. So there you go. Kenny's awake, and I didn't talk about anything. Perfect.
Biggest
And
biggest
Johannes would like to hear your
you've ever
biggest
heard.
BS.
Oh, here we go.
I knew you'd like
World's
that.
smallest fish room. Did you see that?
Yeah, I just said it to you.
Oh, okay.
I said he'd like to hear your biggest BS story about, fish keeping or, whatever.
About fish keeping.
Whatever you want to talk
Wow.
about.
Gee,
Hmm.
I don't catalog them. May have to think about this a little bit.
Hey, TJ, I don't know, but I'll tell you what. I like those. I think it's the mountain minnows that Maple Street has. I love those things. Someday I want to get
Oh,
some.
they're so pretty. Yeah.
I can't answer what would be the best thing to collect and whatever. It's whatever you like, whatever strikes you, whatever you think is pretty or interesting. Because right now, I personally don't keep any natives, but I would be interested maybe someday in some of those minnows or something. They're pretty neat.
There are so many. The one I like is the sticklebacks.
Yeah. Hey, is Breezer's birthday? Is that true? Happy birthday, Breezer. Red Aquatics, good morning.
Hey, Red Eye.
Good morning.
Bruiser CB's birthday today. Biggest Smith James says bigger tanks are easier to keep than small ones. Yeah, obviously, but obviously a popular one and a common.
That's really cool, Ren. You've got white mountain minnows. I've never seen them, but they sound cool. They sound pretty. Chris Trap. If foregoing water changes for a long time with only top offs, you risk a buildup of minerals. Well, we've kind of been discussing that, Chris, a little bit. I think you just came in. But I guess FATHERFISH would feel it is a risk if you're doing top offs with mineralized water.
Yeah, typically it's more common with saltwater than freshwater. And the way it'll show up is if you're just doing top offs and you're topping off, particularly if you're topping off with tap water, then you're going to be adding minerals every time you do a top off. The fish that are in there will be fine. They're not going to be affected by it. But if you do this for a year or so, you're going to change the water parameters sufficiently that new fish will not be able to survive in it, or you'll have trouble being able to put new fish in it. They won't do well. They'll have a problem with it. So it doesn't necessarily affect the fish in the tank, but it can be create sufficiently unique environmental conditions that new fish will have a real struggle with it.
Yeah, and FATHERFISH won't like this answer, but I top off. I top off with my well water. But when I do a water change, I'll change 50% and do it that way. So
you're covering it, yeah.
With a large water change. In my mind, I like to say I'm not scientific, but that's how I do it, and I've not had any problems. I really liked Ren's question. She says, "Oh, I have one. Which fish do you have that you dislike the most?" For me, pearl danios.
Pearl danios.
Inducing, like when, yeah, that's a good question because we all have one.
Right. Balance of tank doesn't matter. People tend to overfeed, overpopulate smaller tanks. Now, there's a popular myth, and probably the most dangerous of all of the myths, which is you need to feed your fish 2 to 3 times a day. That's a recipe for disaster. And the problem is you can get away with it for a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. And it will do so disastrously. And you won't believe it's got anything to do with food because I always feed my fish 10 times a day. I've been doing it for years. It's actually maybe a month, but nevertheless, food. I think food is the biggest single problem in fish keeping.
Good morning, Brooke. Hello.
Different. Every time you do a water change, you're effectively topping off. It's different. Uh, when you're taking water out and replacing it,
Right.
that's different from adding to. Keep in mind that when you're topping off for evaporation. What evaporates is just the water, not the minerals in the water. So evaporation increases the mineral dissolved minerals in that water. The longer the evaporation, the more it's replaced by mineral containing water, the more mineralized that water is going to get. Changing it reduces it by 20 reduces it by 70. If you do a 50% water change, you're reducing it by half, or it's at 3/4. You're reducing it substantially. Whereas with topping off, you're not reducing it at all.
And James, yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's totally different when you're feeding fry. You have to feed fry, or they're not going to grow. Those mantis.
Fish and talking about using rainwater to top off. That's a good idea. Still don't understand water changes.
Why not Wyoming? Good morning. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, why not?
Welcome. And Guppy Gressler, I don't know if I said hi to you. Good morning. Well, TJ, I mean, this is where Father Fish and I have different ways of fish keeping. I feed mine every day. My bettas.
I feed bettas every day too. Bettas are a rare exception to the rule. And I think it's because they really require larger food that they will pick, but they're somehow more food intensive. I find that bettas will go down pretty quickly if they're not fed. Won't take more than a week or so, and they will obviously begin to fail. Whereas a tank full of tetras in a well-established tank, or mollies or platies, really will not require any food at all. They'll be able to pick constantly at what's on the plants. They'll eat some plants. They'll pick at the microscopic animal life living in the tank. That tank will actually be producing food for fish that are microscopic eaters.
Right, no, I use
Duco feeds that is nothing for 2 weeks. Fed or feeds? Was that something you did once or something you do routinely, Duco? And Miranda's saying your bettas are fat, can't get them to lose weight. Betta food is a whole other can of worms too. It's easy to misfeed bettas. Bettas are strict insectivores. They do not have enzymes in their gut that allows them to digest vegetable matter. So if you're feeding flake food that's 50% cornmeal, they're just pooping that out and creating waste, which is fouling the water. They're not getting much food value out of it. So it's important to feed uh, um, in, like worms are good, brine shrimp are good. Um, I fed beef heart for a long time. I grew a bunch of bettas up on beef heart. I don't do it anymore, but they did all right. It's difficult because it fouls the water easily, so you got to be careful with it. But generally, bettas want worms or brine shrimp or some other kind of crustacea, mosquito larvae, that kind of thing. Bug bites are good.
Yeah, just don't do too much.
Compass mentis, bug bites, the frozen. Yeah, that's the right kind of diet for betta. Duco said I did that once when he was sick. Yeah, and that's an important thing to do. If you have a fish that's sick, regardless of the problem, whatever it is, do not feed that fish while it's healing. And the reason is really very simple. You don't want to create a condition where bacteria is going to be able to infect the wound or otherwise affect the sick fish. And that's what food does. It creates bacteria. So that's if you're treating a fish, taking it out, putting it in a hospital tank, so long as it's being treated, do not feed it. Freezer door is full of frozen bugs, Gordon says. Oh, yeah, frugal. Open my aquarium lid on a warm night. My fish go nuts for the bugs that fall in. You betcha.
Aquatic thumb likes Daphne. It's the primary food.
Daphne, yep, yep. Primary food for all the fish in a planted tank. Uh, how do you grow your Daphne aquatic thumb? What's your culture system? And Brooke says all of her animals eat better than she does, or he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're done. Mixes general care with garlic. Well, that'll get it. That'll get the medication in them.
Yeah, I'm
And
assuming
that's
that's
kind
for
of the
treatment,
key.
not a regular food. I'm assuming.
Somebody's knocking at my door. Leonard. Oh,
Father Dave,
Richard.
thanks for coming in. It's nice seeing you today. Albert DeBoer. Good morning.
Oh, hi. Yeah, what time? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, 2 2 gallon tanks, lots of light yeast. Okay,
I stick in
cool.
he's got a marker up there. We'll take a look. Or I can come over here.
Yeah, I look at that Duco as those types of fish do tend to just hang out and appear to be sleeping. But if they jump up and act normal and eat, typically I don't worry about that behavior. You'll see it in clown loaches and catfish and all kinds of fish. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, those fruit fly things. Mostly, I've tried it a couple times. They just get in my house, so I don't do it anymore. I've not had good luck with it. I'm sure you have.
They are quick little dudes that can climb out quickly. Do I like plecos? Yes, I like plecos. I don't think I have any right now. Yeah, I do. I've got a, or I did. I got some at the Tampa Bay auction last month, but I don't think they made it. They were a little albino bushy nose.
Yeah.
And I put them in that creek water tank, and I don't think they did well.
CM, good morning. Tam, yeah, I mean, try it. I don't use it, but a lot of people love it. Give it a shot. "13-year-old is taking ownership of our murder."
Right.
There you go. Cool.
There you go. CM, I started my very first started. Do you have any tanks with zero error or filters? Yeah, I do actually. I've got several. I've got 15-gallon tanks. Those those are no air, no filter. I do have light, and I've got a few others down there. I don't know if you can see them. Where are they? Yeah, on the bottom they're 215s. There's no air or and I don't have enough light. That one strip is not enough. I'm gonna have to put two strips on. The plants are not doing as well as I would like, so I got to double up on the light.
Good morning, and that's exciting.
Holly's Haven just come out. Aquashella tickets. Wish I could afford Florida. Yeah, I need to go to Orlando. Aquashella Dallas. I need to do that right away. I need to do that today. Get tickets to Orlando. Plecos are banned. Where are you, Rohan? Well, Rohan's in
Himalayas.
Himalayas, right? Plecos are banned in the Himalayas. Isn't that bizarre? It's
CM
like
has
piranha banned in Maine.
FATHERFISH.
Pardon? What?
CM says, "I'm dealing with a bit of haze. Should I leave it, or should I throw a sponge filter in temporarily?"
Oh yeah, I would for sure.
Yeah.
We'll see if it clears it up. You might try to figure out why you have the haze. You may need to add a little more sand. You may be getting soil coming up through the sand. Plecos and black rifles, the biggest threat to humanity. What makes a fish jump or climb out of a tank? It's like the chicken crossing the road, I think. They get bored and want to look around, see what else is around. Keep in mind, fish in the wild, if they flop up on land, they can keep flopping, and they'll wind up back in the water. If they jump out of a tank, they're going to land on the floor, and no amount of flopping is going to get them back in the water. So it's a different kind of environment. It's fairly natural and normal for fish to flop out of the water occasionally. Some even do it deliberately. The pandagara, for example, climbs out of the water. The climbing perch climbs out of the water. There are other fish that the splashing tetra actually jumps up onto a leaf and lays its eggs out of the water, and then splashes the eggs to keep them wet. Wow. So there are fish that naturally go on land for brief periods of time, but are always able to get back in the water simply by flopping around a bit. So that's the solution to that is to keep a lid on your tank.
Yeah.
14
Renee
days and
wants to know.
mysteries have not hatched. Give it another week, Duke. They can take. It's a temperature thing. If it's a little cooler, may take them longer to hatch. Too much sand on top of the dirt. Um, Red Eye says yes and no. As the tank ages, it's less and less an issue because that soil tends to work its way up into the sand. Also, waste tends to precipitate into the sand. So, in time, it works itself out regardless of the depth. But for a new tank, 2 inches is kind of a minimum maximum. Why not Wyoming is saying my Corys jump all the time.
Yeah.
Ren cannot keep mysteries alive.
Uh, yeah, I don't know, Ren. I mean,
I've had tanks where I couldn't keep them alive and others where they live just fine. Tanks sitting next to each other. You know, you might check things like pH. See if there's an extreme variation of pH. Um, they need to be able to eat, but usually that's not a problem because they can find waste. Water parameters for snails need to be um, probably not soft and acid.
so you only have problems with mystery snails, Ren, not other snails? Huh. I guess if you are losing them long term, yes, it could be a calcium situation.
Are you able to keep neorites? Have you tried neorites? Ren is saying all the other snails are fun.
Right. So it might be calcium.
Well, it's also possible that there's a disease in there. Mystery snails do get diseases. Um, they have parasites that work their way into them and kill the snail. That's a
Yeah,
possibility.
your other snails are doing fine.
Yeah,
Aquaticum, too many
right.
minerals in the water. I don't know. I mean, you just run into what we all do. Some things do well and some things don't, and the ones that do well are the ones you keep. Sometimes that's the way it is.
That's kind of the bottom line. Most of the people who really prefer the old time breeders who really like certain kinds of fish, it's because they do really well with them.
Yes.
So you rarely want to keep fish that are hard to keep. I tend to
Right.
always try to keep fish that are hard to keep. But then I think that's part of my perversity. The name of the strip lights I get on Amazon. Let's see if I can find them. It's a 4 foot LED. Amazon shopping. Let's bring this up so we can see it. Orders.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way it is. Sometimes you just work too hard. Things that aren't working out. Oh, I've not seen any of those in person, Holly. I've just seen pictures of them, but they look really neat. Horn mirrors. Yep. Tam, you're not going to be able to leave them in there forever. They'll be all right for a while, but eventually you're going to have to move them to a bigger tank. Or a tub. Doesn't have to be a tank. It could be a tub or whatever, but if you have a lot, if you got 50 to 100 or whatever, they're not going to be able to stay in it long term.
Huh. It's not letting me go back far enough. LED.
Yeah, regular pest nails are easy. Yep. They do the same thing. And they actually don't eat your plants. I don't mind them.
Well, here's some. This is different.
What are you
That's
looking
kind of
for?
nice, but that's not the one I ordered.
Are you looking at lights? Okay.
I'm not finding it. That's weird.
Yeah.
It may be discontinued.
Yeah.
I don't see it. There's some nice ones here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, nothing. I was just gonna say it's 10:30. So
All right. Yes, it is. Let's get a little tune up.
yeah. Thank you, Chevy and Lori, for coming in and modding and
Doing all that good stuff. You bet.
doing all the stuff that you ladies do. And anyone else that dropped a link or anything, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here and being in.
So
hanging
So
in.
Naresh has put together a new closing video. We'll play it through and see what you guys think about. I'll leave it on through to the end. He's got Chinese music we haven't been able to find. Maybe somebody can find more appropriate music.